Oh, God.
What's the old number? Oh, yeah, he was originally 35. Okay, cool. Just not to make sure he wasn't.
I was like, who?
Shit, put that fucking broadcast down, son. And they're gonna watch me, gotta pay.
Cap. It's free cable for everybody but Gus.
Oh, 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 oh. You white? Okay.
That boy John Bell Edwards. What you got, sir?
Or the radio or the computer, however they happen to be watching. I've got with me today, as usual, Dr. Alex B.U. He will be here to present some information in just a moment. We also have State Fire Marshal Butch Brown.
Yeah.
To answer any questions
A shooter bill
that pertain to
the fuck
what he's
shooter 95
safely, and that will become more
basically
apparent in just a moment what we're talking about. And I know that everybody is anxious about today's announcement, so I'll try to get to it.
cut up.
You can't get until you hit more than 8 shots a game.
Boy, stop that,
The
boy.
data with public health experts and the
You and your glitchy ass bills.
epidemiologists.
Oh,
and
right, you said
Louisiana.
the not glitchy.
Really,
Them bitches is
using
glitchy.
the data that we've been accumulating over the last couple of weeks.
Oh shit, put it in.
We will be moving to phase 1 on Friday, May the 15th. That is this Friday.
No.
So we will be lifting the stay-at-home order. The next proclamation will likely be issued on Thursday, be effective Friday.
I don't know how wise that
We
is.
intend to leave it in place for 21 days, which I think is June the 5th. And so the next time that we anticipate having an announcement like today will be on Monday, June the 1st. And obviously we won't know what that announcement looks like.
Why they reaching in until the game just started, bitch?
Have the
What you
most
thinking, Hope?
recent data to look at.
That's just man.
Obviously, like all decisions, this one involved a lot of time and work. And I want to thank the folks at the Department of Health,
Of course.
especially Dr. B.U. and his team.
He's swinging.
We wanted to make absolutely sure
green.
that we were following the CDC vetted plan that was issued by the White House Coronavirus Task Force and President Trump's phased approach to reopening the country. I
God!
do believe that we are striking the right balance with this plan. That balance is between public health on the one hand, and this public health emergency, and re-engaging more of our economy, getting more of our businesses open, employers back to work, customers in our stores and restaurants, and so forth. Now, you're going to get some
I missed.
more data in just a moment.
not at all.
And different from Dr. B.U. But I can tell you that statewide we meet the threshold criteria established by the White House based on declining COVID-19-like illnesses being presented to the hospital.
Nah, he good.
You blocked it,
based
huh?
on cases.
Yeah, I did.
And you'll see in just a moment.
What?
That's particularly
Come on,
true
I gotta
with
bring one of
respect to
these, huh?
cases as a percentage of tests administered, which is one of the White House criteria, and with respect to hospitalizations.
They're playing too hard for
In
that.
addition, as we outlined on Friday, and this too is part of the president's plan, we now have more testing capacity
Oh, Nick.
in state.
Watch your
And
elbows.
in fact, in the first week of May,
Yeah.
the federal government fully
Damn, Travis.
to resourcing the state with collection of kits that will allow us to get to 200,000 tests per week.
That shit.
I'm sorry, per month. That would be a
easy lane, don't.
Per month, and so we feel much better.
They just bad. Nah, they just Travis bad on that one. Certain.
And that capacity that we have for testing and for contact tracing,
I would do that again.
in place by this Friday, greatly exceeds that which was available to us a couple of weeks ago. The bottom line is the people of Louisiana have worked really hard since this public health emergency was first announced in order to
Oh
slow
my
the
God, I'm
spread of
having it on my circle.
COVID-19. And I am proud, and I want to thank the people of Louisiana for doing that. They committed to and required me to stay at home, and had they not,
This is extremely. Me too, bro.
that
Me
we
too.
have been able to see.
Nigga watch Travis throw the
I
alley.
also want to remind everybody
I didn't think that was
until
possible
Friday,
right
the
now.
stay-home order is still in place. So as I
Good
mentioned,
boxing.
Dr. B is going to come up in just a moment, but I did want to explain a little bit more about what phase one will look like. And
What?
again, we
Jello, you got the splat?
so that we have
under your
the
foot?
opportunity to answer questions throughout
Jello got the
week.
Nickelodeon
The
splat.
proclamation
bro,
will be
under the
issued
foot.
on Thursday, effective
off.
on Friday, and I'm encouraging
These
people
poor men.
to read the proclamation itself because it will be a complete document that will give you links to different places that you need to go see certain things, such
That's
as
not different.
How about they
we will
explain
still
my-
have 3 categories of businesses.
Why
in
can't
Louisiana.
Green?
Those deemed essential by CISA, the Cybersecurity and Information
Oh, wait, he thought
Security
about that.
Agency that
I got
works
it now,
in
y'all.
the Department of Homeland Security.
You're not about to score
at
shit.
national level. They're on their
Smoke
third
bread.
of
Come on, bro.
its essential infrastructure, and we've embraced the full.
I did
Knock,
this
knock on wood, bro. Knock on wood.
This is my second time doing this if they don't fund it. This
constitute
is my
essential
second time.
infrastructure
Green.
by CISA.
Bam.
They will continue to operate as they have without restrictions as to the number of persons that can be present and so forth, but they do have
Oh, God.
employees and to customers with respect
He at 92 now, Nick? What happened, bro? Give me that shit. Yeah, home was too good for that shit. Stop that.
Of non-essential businesses, I'll get back to those in just a moment.
What? What does that got to do?
And those are
Why?
closed businesses. Now,
Why the
there
poster?
will be fewer of those, but there will still be business
That might be
types
bucks.
that will be closed in Louisiana. For example, during phase one,
Say you love me.
parlors, massage
Oh, golly.
establishments, spas, amusement parks,
Oh,
children's
Joe's?
museums, bars without
Was that
food
me?
permits, they will remain.
Don't do
closed.
that. Come on, I got him. Oh, no, I
In the
don't.
second category, that's everything in between.
Get the hop step.
So if you're not CISA, if you're not essential
It counts.
infrastructure,
Russ, it counts.
and you're not one of the closed, you're.
We're gonna be throwing Travis Alleys with
like
0.5 level.
before, but the middle's going to be larger because there will be more businesses that will be allowed. To
What?
open.
Now, this young man
And
needs
they
to
will
go.
include things like hair and nail salons, gyms and fitness centers. But there will be restrictions in place.
Still broken.
Most notably, these businesses will operate with a maximum occupancy of 25% and must practice social distancing. And in fact, the 25%, that is so that we know that they can practice social distancing when they open. There should be enough square footage in the establishment so that individuals can stay 6 feet from one another. Further, employees interacting with or in close proximity to customers will have to wear a face mask or a face covering. As I mentioned, I expect that the proclamation that moves us into phase one and ends the stay-home order will last for 21 days through June the 5th. The next anticipated announcement will
Yeah,
be
it is.
on June the 1st. And I also want to note that as we made decisions about things like salons and gyms, we received input from the Resilient Louisiana Commission task forces, but also from the different trade associations about protective measures that they will put in place for the safety of their customers and their employees.
My God.
And
Can I
we fully
agree?
expect that they will be cautious, as they have been all along. And that is why, at this time, I feel that it is safe to take this next step statewide and not doing it on a regional basis. I know that there are a lot of different business uses and building types out there, and we're aware that for some, the new guidance is not as simple to apply as it may be for others. And every business owner or faith leader should read the proclamation closely.
Oh, home if he would have made it. Home if he would have made it. We would have had a case to talk about.
Community about opensafely.la.gov. opensafely.la.gov. This is a resource that will provide additional
Caught, intercepted the 45-yard
your
line.
business use and building type,
Golly.
to help you to establish
Ooh.
how many people you can have inside your certain home. And once you register, you will be notified as guidance evolves. So as we move from one phase to the next, and the guidance changes, you won't have to go looking for it. It will be sent to you once you register. If you're trying to understand what the 25% means,
Don't do that to yourself.
that occupancy
Let me get that. Oh.
capacity is based upon gross square
Let me
footage
get that boom, boom,
and particular
boom.
use of your building.
That boom,
But the
boom,
25%, generally speaking, is designed to allow
Got that.
6 feet between people and 10 feet
This is
between
green right here.
tables.
That's always green.
I
never seen the pullback not be here.
only with members of your household. And so if you
I
go
guess
out
so.
to eat at a restaurant and dining in, for example, you and your
The shit out of them.
could sit at one table. But you need to be
1922.
You have 6 feet between people. And what you cannot do,
But now,
as a business or a church or
quit?
something
I
like
think.
that,
Oh,
is say,
that's a
well,
sad way to
if I'm
score.
25% of my occupancy, I'm just going to put them all.
Yeah, that's a terrible way to
on my
score.
square footage, because that doesn't work.
It's a terrible way to score.
And so that we're trying to do this as safely as we possibly can. The capacities do include customers and employees.
Yeah, nah, there's no greens. There's no greens. There's no greens. That's
Doesn't
crazy.
include outdoor.
Nick said take that back. Nick said take that back. Oh God! Travis, like, how they let Travis jump like that?
Distancing for outdoor patio seating will continue to be.
We is toasting a buns though.
I know that this is different for our businesses. And
We is toasting their ass, though.
The way we operated
My bad.
before.
Okay, I'm playing lead blocker. Come on.
Required if we're going to cautiously move forward.
Look at this young
While
man.
giving
Come on,
our
let's go. What
businesses
you got,
the
bro?
ability to serve more people, bring in more of their employees while also keeping everyone safe.
What?
And again, the occupancy guidelines.
Hey, I look at the
I don't think Nick touched him.
Guidance for phase 1 that calls for strict.
But no, we said we were just talking about something.
And speaking of phase 1, I don't believe there's any distinction
Nah.
to be made between what's
Giving us all whites.
on Thursday, or what will be, and what was in phase 1 of the Lighthouse guidelines. So we've embraced
That shit, Gelo.
those guidelines, and if there's a distinction to be made, it's that we moved early in some areas, like the resumption of non-emergency medical procedures and surgical procedures, and a couple of other areas as well. So the guidance to the examples that I just gave.
Oh God! You saw that? I just knew it was over with.
To get that information to prepare your business.
Travis had options for
Now,
days.
make something here
You could have even gone up with it if you wanted to.
About this. With the exception of gaming establishments, no church leader or
Tuka really got a
business
badge name handles for
no,
no.
or to get approval on their plans.
Yeah, Tuka really got a badge name handles for days.
In order to open.
Oh, now the game is definitely over. Time out, Marino. Look at the skull! Oh my God! Nigga said 3 niggas got the sharp shooting badge. It's curtains. There ain't much that can be done about it. Get that, Nick. Trash ass nigga.
As we look at the latest numbers, I would ask you to keep in mind that there.
Oh, they mad. Get them out of here.
That came in over the weekend.
Who them? Yeah, definitely. Can I see that? Thank you.
With the server on
My
Friday.
point guard got a show for y'all. Let's go.
On Friday as well.
This a good warm up.
And so
Appreciate
the way that
this.
played out on Saturday, we had a larger number of tests and positive reported.
5 seconds.
We had over
10 seconds. 30 seconds. Anything.
that about half of
Oh, okay.
Friday's results were reported on Saturday. So if you just average those days out, you'll see that things are pretty overall.
But they good.
Oh,
Alright,
yeah.
okay.
And
Okay. That's
so
what I
getting
thought.
to today,
That's what I thought, son.
we
That's what I
have
thought. That's what I thought. Get the fuck out of here, son.
215
That's what I thought, son.
That second half was gonna be worse. I feel like everybody's gonna start being selfish with it. You say Nick ain't even get 40 yet. They about to joke him.
1,800 and 15, and you can see that we updated today.
All right, so look, John Bell. These numbers look promising, right? Except for this point where there's literally a coronavirus case in every city in the state. I just don't think we should open it. Charles, if I show you the chart that John Bell is trying to show everybody, it looks terrible.
Who have never been tested. And as a certain
It looked like a bad PowerPoint.
There with COVID-19 who are asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic haven't been tested. And so the amount of COVID is certainly in addition to the cases that you see on the board in front of you. Sadly, we have 29 new deaths to report, with a total of 2,242. We have now conducted
Well, he can eat on that.
almost 220
Yeah, he can eat on that.
tests in the state of Louisiana to date.
I think the overall
I'm going to
still
yield the
the person
podium to Dr. BU. He's
Yeah.
going to come up and discuss the latest data. Once he is done, he will take questions about any.
See, bro, I really hope that Caleb can do his shit with the. Yeah, look at the good 92. I really hope that Caleb can do his shit with the
information
the sign language thing, bro. Because these people make money. If I ever see Caleb next to the governor, I'm gonna be like, yes, sir. Good job, bro. Dumas.
So I'm going to
Caleb good with that sign language shit.
through some of the data that we looked at, and then talk a little bit more.
Caleb
about
good as fuck with the sign language.
as we prepare for transitioning into phase one.
My nigga got a nice fade on him, dude. I feel you, pimp.
Team at the Department of Health, the Office of Public Health, including our
91 overall pink
internal
beast.
experts in biostatistics rather, met with academic partners from Tulane, LSU, and went over the data that we have, some of which we're going to show you here to understand
I doubt
the
it.
trends that we're seeing in the three gating criteria for cases that we're looking at, or for the epidemic that we're looking at. We'll go to the next slide. First I wanted to
Gelo. I hate the
just
pump fake.
represent where
That's
we
automatic
were
pump
on the
fake.
27th. This was the slide that we had shown to you, I think, on April 27th.
That was almost.
After we had had the initial discussion.
I
What we
missed.
had conveyed at that time, looking at the data, was that COVID-like illnesses, people presenting to emergency departments with symptoms of COVID, as a percentage of all ED visits,
The fuck wrong with him?
were
Nick?
decreasing across the state.
What's wrong with him? Oh!
For our assessment at that time.
So that one drill would be scamming when Travis said that
Increasing
bitch.
in a few regions, region 2, region 4.
It did. That one drill would be scamming when
And
Travis
then
said
in
that
region
bitch. 'Cause it's
7,
like,
the
oh,
Shreveport
they about to get
area,
this man a
we're
terrible
seeing
animation.
A general plateauing in cases at that time. And
Well,
what
chill
was concerning to us,
I got left
we
in it.
saw
I got
an
over here.
increase in hospitalizations.
Yep, keep that shit out there.
In region
That's
2,
dead.
Baton Rouge, Capitolaria, and region 8, the Monroe area, as well as hospitalizations rather than decrease in the southwest, near around the and region 5, as well as in
This Gelo got 5 feet of air, bro.
This 2 weeks later, what we see is generally improving trends. When we look at syndromic surveillance, so that COVID-like illnesses.
So Nick, we got to get these dudes out of here, bro. Because the AI and 23, Joseph, terrible. Did
seem to show a plateau.
Like literally, like look at them. Watch these two players. Watch my nigga and Nick nigga when they have the ball. Like they literally got to give Nick the badge in the first 5 minutes.
Symptoms rather were down for COVID-like illnesses across the state. Cases here we saw
I'm myself sit there, but that's
only
like
2
you going to the
regions,
print
region
like you
6 and region 8. So again, Senlaw and the Monroe area.
No.
Increasing cases.
I know, Joe. He's trying to play the lane. I hate that.
Cases reported and the epidemic curves. I'll show you some examples of that in a moment, as well as a general plateauing at the state level overall, and specifically in regions 2, the Baton Rouge area, and region 9, the North Shore. And
You got to be mad about the pussy bitch ass up. You don't want that.
We'll talk a bit in a moment about why that could be, and we've talked previously, I think, in conferences and in other engagements about the fact that the last 2 weeks also coincides with an increase in testing overall. In and our assessment.
I got the cane. You got the seal.
Was definitely taken into context the increase in testing, and I showed you some of those numbers on Friday, as well as the general decrease in the percent of positive cases per test performed. And I'll show you a graphic that kind of depicts that. But in general, what I'm saying is we did more testing, and few of the test results that came back were positive. So while we were seeing overall cases expand, we did think that some of that was a function of having more testing in the state. And along those lines, as we continue to have more testing, I would expect that to be
I can't believe it.
in multiple regions. When we turn to hospitalizations, we did see that Region 2, where we had previously seen an increase, now is in a decreasing trajectory. And Region
Chill out,
5,
kid.
Southwest, where we had previously seen a plateau, has now also started to decrease. Region 8 continues to increase on its previous trajectory. And Region 7, where there had been sort of a plateau in hospitalizations, we see an increase.
Dead-eye, yeah. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
On the next slide, this is a depiction of what we look at
Dead-eye.
the state level. The top graph is depicting this percentage of COVID-like illness syndromic presentations.
Nah, he good on that. He good on that.
Total emergency
Might be showtime though.
visits. You can see that certainly has a peak that comes up towards the beginning of April and then has been coming down statewide since that time. The middle chart is an epidemic curve. Here we're depicting the change in new cases as an average, 3-day running average over time. And the colors really depict whether that change denotes an increase or a plateau from the previous day. So that's why you see colors shifting. The brown color showing that you're seeing an increase, you're seeing growth. The purple color meaning you're seeing essentially plateau.
What's in it guarding you? Okay.
Yeah, nah. That was a good check though. That was a good check.
And then where you see that sort of light purple, maybe blue, depending on how you're seeing it, color in the middle, that's where we see a sustained decline. Now, I'll note that in addition to
I wish you press X and alert the players on a foot who press X. Like just pop on the screen, X, square press X for the pass or some shit. I don't know.
How we sort of look at cases at the state level. And here you can see that there's been this sort
Just put a
of
function in the game.
undulating,
Like, they know they can't see you.
pattern. Most recently, again,
They should, but then that'd be too cheap.
Testing state.
That'd be too bad.
To interpret as a graph. This is the 3-day running
Like the
average
quiet
of
fee on Call of Duty.
daily,
Right.
people in the hospital with a diagnosis.
Dang, Trey Light.
You see that
Trey
that's steady, albeit not steep, decline over time.
Yeah, man, Nick caught Jan the fuck out there.
The first hot spot in the state, and certainly the hottest spot in the state, and one of the hotter spots in the country, was the Greater New Orleans area. And so what we see when we look specifically at Region 1, the Greater New Orleans area, is really a good story here. We're seeing that the syndromic surveillance of symptoms have been coming down steadily since a peak.
Indeed.
We've seen the cases also coming down. Obviously, some plateauing, especially as we've seen some increase in testing in that region, and it's one of our more robustly tested regions. And then hospitalizations, again, a steady decline, even steeper than the overall state decline. Region 1 continues to have much higher that went up, much farther to go, but it seems to drive a significant amount of the improvement in hospitalizations. I did want to highlight, though, the two regions that still give us some concern. We'll start with Region 7, the Shreveport area. And when we see this symptomatically, we're seeing the same decrease that we saw in other regions.
Oh, come on! Nick, you see how they jokes in the... But the last two plays were some of the worst plays I ever seen. I'm about to call a timeout again.
When we look at cases, you have this sort of, again, rolling plateau, maybe slightly...
I got scared.
If you look at the last 15 days or so, we think that's probably decreasing. What I think is important to point out is Region 7
glitched me on. I don't know why this shit glitched me like that. Behind Nick player.
This is in the context of
AI.
a fairly good
That shit
testing
should
in that
have been
area
easy.
as a percent of total population. Hospitalizations-wise, though, you can see what we were looking at before, where you have this plateaued graph, but then
That's off.
tail most recently.
That's off. I tapped it.
Over the last 2 weeks.
It was gonna probably be off because he's
steady
captain
increase is
Probably.
Definitely there.
I quit.
I will note that just given that the numbers in the region, the population is a little bit less than Region 1, what's being depicted there is actually an increase
Gelo.
of 44 total admissions over the last 2
Crash!
so it doesn't mean that there are hundreds of people in the hospital.
Oh man, Nick stuck. Oh God!
Showing up each day more and more. However, I will note that we have about 380.
Out of all shit, they giving it on with the left hand, son. They could have given it on with the right hand. It's cool.
During the last 2 weeks.
It's
If we
cool.
look at Region 8,
I'll take
We
the
see,
5.
again,
Each
a
one with their
similar
own
sort
hand.
of a little bit noisier plot when we're looking at syndromic surveillance, because again, it's all about the volume of tests. The greater the numbers are that are showing to the emergency department, the smoother that curve will be. So in general, we see smaller numbers of people presenting to
I didn't
hospitals
want
or
to get it.
emergency rooms, and
Oh.
it means for a choppier graph. But the general trend is down for symptoms.
Said
However,
stop
when we
being
look
a
at cases,
bitch.
especially looking via the epi curve, what we see is this sort of stepwise increase to plateau pattern. Again, we've been increasing significantly the amount of testing that we've been doing. We've been doing more testing, especially in the parishes that border Mississippi, and we'll continue to have even more sites there.
Wow.
Like in
The eyes of a
East
trash man.
Madison and Tensaw. And so we'd expect that there may be some flattening of the trend here in Monroe, that we hope certainly that we see
Easily.
or decrease over time. Hospitalizations, however, we've been seeing this
You want the moving
stable
screen?
increase again with some movement around this.
That's a
trend line.
terrible point guard.
Again, just to
What the
emphasize,
fuck?
while this trend is increasing over the last 2 weeks, that's a net of 4 hospitalizations.
That's tough.
People are coming and going from the hospital, being admitted.
John at
and
the
discharged.
laundromat.
But on the whole, there's been an increase of 4 net
Probably.
cases over that last 2-week period. And so,
They
4
smacking.
hospitalizations net can be absorbed by the health system in the greater Monroe area, same as 44 being absorbed by the hospital system in Shreveport. But
Got
I
'em.
think what I want to really sort of convey here is these are trends, and we're watching
Splat.
them closely. And especially as now we're taking steps to relax restrictions, it's really incumbent on all of us, especially in these regions, to take seriously the opportunity to social distance,
Took the
wear
chest
a
out.
mask,
Just take the
to stay
charge,
home if you're
bitch.
sick, and as we're going to
Pretty much, yeah.
research contact tracing
I don't
in
like
these
it.
areas, to work with us on abiding by an isolation or quarantine recommendation, and stay in your homes for that 14-day period as requested, because we don't want to see these numbers rise to crisis levels. So I'll move now to talking a little bit about phase 1. The governor already highlighted many of these. Oh, sorry, I skipped a slide. I promised that I was going to come back to this idea of percent positivity. So again, as we presented on Friday, we've been increasing the amount of testing going on statewide. And this is the same graph that I showed on Friday, where we've seen week to week there's been a significant increase in the amount of testing at
See,
a
Nick,
state
they're
level.
josing us.
The blue
They're
bars
josing us. Like,
are
give us the ball. Good double
the
team, Nick.
orange bars are the positive
Josing us.
values, the
Oh, that's
actual
not bad.
cases that are being
I want
reported out of
that
that
like
testing.
it.
And what you can see is, while there's an upslope in the blue
I was playing
graphs,
for it, but no,
there's a
I'm done playing.
downslope in the orange, meaning that the percent that's positive is coming down even as we increase testing. We don't depict here last week where we had over 39,000 tests done, and there the percent positive would also be lower.
Great God.
That generally
not really.
makes us a little bit more comfortable about what we're seeing in the epidemic curves, where we're seeing these increases or plateaus
I would never put up
in
an ad
different
for this
regions.
guy,
We have to take
ever.
all of that into consideration, and certainly encourage members of the press, where they have questions, to engage with the academic epidemiologists around our state. Who have a tremendous amount of information.
54 driving later.
And can give you the same
54 driving later.
assessment that we had when we looked at this data, which is it is complex. Next slide, I will now talk a little bit about what is in phase 1. And so again, through the Resilient Louisiana Task Force, the Office of the Governor, and looking at the White House guidance,
watch out, I want to.
the following are
He
in
josted out.
phase 1.
He josted
safe
out.
at home,
He josted
and
out.
open with limitations, 25% occupancy,
You can't even swim without
sanitation,
blanking?
and really
So you can't
critically,
swim without blanking? You
that
giving energy?
25% needs
You
to
giving
be
energy?
to accommodate spacing. To
Green.
accommodate keeping individuals
Woo!
6 feet apart from each other if they're not from the same household. Tables 10 feet away from each other so that there's room for people to walk by without causing problems.
I'm about to press
And so here you have
L2.
churches, solo and non-contact sports, barbers and salons, as the governor said, museums, zoos, and aquariums, especially where they don't have tactile exhibits. So if you're keeping spaced in between the party in front of you and
I couldn't
behind
throw that.
you,
Oh, wow.
you're not touching things, you're wearing masks, sanitation and symptom checking is happening at the entrance of these facilities. We think that these can open. Gyms and fitness centers
What's
in
up with your boy?
malls, for stores with exterior
What's up with your boy?
entrances,
How you doing?
they'll be able to have people coming in as well. Restaurants, coffee shops, cafes, bars, breweries.
97
there will not be
3.0.
food permits,
96 probably right
with
now.
people seated at tables. There will not not be standing
It should be 97.
allowed
I thought that.
in these facilities. So the
I wouldn't
capacity will
barely
be
just said slightly late.
managed by
That's good
having to
time
be at a
release.
table, and again, those tables need to be spaced. Theaters, casinos, video poker, and then racetracks, notably racetracks with no spectators.
Man, I took these on, man.
I do want to point out that though we are opening up these facilities on the next slide, I want to reemphasize that does not mean that everybody in the public should go out and enjoy
What?
these
What the fuck wrong with these?
certainly want businesses to thrive. We want to continue to maintain a message to the public that if you're in a high-risk group, if you are 65 or older, if you have significant underlying health concerns, the risk from
See, you can't say to people who are more susceptible to the virus, you should still stay home during phase 1. But we're open for business, everyone. Other than that, you can go outside. Yeah,
a significant amount of
like everybody's gonna go
more than
outside.
9,000 active cases based on our estimate of recovered as of today. And so the risk is still remaining there for COVID. And we want to make sure that those individuals at highest risk are taking control.
You can see that? Yeah, thanks.
And the family members who are part of a household with those individuals
Shit!
should also be
I'm on my
thoughtful
hips.
about the risks that they take and then bring back to their home. On the next slide, I think what we want to emphasize is that what we're talking about here is not a return to pre-COVID.
You lock a nigga up. Let me see this rock right quick.
What we're talking about is a new normal. We're talking about wearing masks, encouraging each other to wear masks, because that's how we keep each other safe. It's not how I stay safe wearing a mask. It's how I and my partner keep you safe by wearing a mask. We want to make sure that you continue to
Stop playing,
you
bro.
have symptoms, you will stay
Just
home.
garbage.
Contact your
Just
healthcare
sad.
provider, seek assistance.
Damn, Gelo.
Don't
Odell.
go out and do unnecessary
You see it?
visits. Don't go visit
Oh,
a
shit, you
restaurant
see it?
if you're,
Oh, what the what?
we are going to do our part at the state level with contact tracing and testing.
My big
Increasing
body
the
ass.
people to be tested in
Hella
the
weird.
communities,
Hella weird.
increasing our
Just for
capacity
that.
to then
Ooh,
leverage
ooh.
the contact
Ooh,
tracing
lucky my nigga
infrastructure we
open,
have
son. About to
to
open, I
reach out
shot
to
that shit
people
on you.
who test positive. Find out who might have been exposed. Reach out to those people and encourage them.
Nigga act like you had the
Travel.
post scorer badge on.
Days. Our systems will only be as effective.
Now that was a Mario
as the
do right
public
here.
complies
Man,
with
see
them.
that? Oh, Gelo, they josing us. No!
Desire for us to move into phase 2. We all have to take that upon ourselves. And that's something that we can do as citizens for the state. And again, wearing masks in public, staying apart from each other, and staying home if sick are key components of that. There's a lot of information that we've just conveyed, a lot of information and questions that
I see
people
that.
know
Thanks.
have. So on the next slide, we just want to highlight for the general public, 211 has been our trusted resource since the beginning.
As soon as Homer shot it, it said find open teammate assist.
Reach out to them. We continue to
Like
get
before they
them
even went in the
they continue to
fucking
be
hoop.
your best resource for questions, especially about your
Job.
local neighborhood. We also have coronavirus.la.gov.
Jello.
And we will be putting guidelines also on ldh.la.gov/coronavirus. For businesses, the Office of the State Fire Marshal.
None.
Sorry,
I'm not done with him yet. Alright, yeah, shit. I'm just shooting in my
website,
bag.
which has a
Got a
wealth
whole
of
big pencil
information
case full of
for
shit.
businesses that
Oh,
should be
God.
practical. Meaning, if you go there, you're registering for your business. You'll get information that helps you understand how you can keep your patrons safe. Which is
Travel.
what your patrons are going to
You
want.
went from the airport to
feel
the
comfortable coming back,
restricted area.
to your facility. And it's what we can all do to make sure that we continue to open safely and we don't
Travis?
risk having to pause or go backwards. And so, as the governor said, we'll continue to monitor the data over the next 21 days.
You can say it.
and
We
hope
got
that,
shit A's.
we continue to
Loca.
see improvements, if not even greater improvements over time.
Oh, I gotta check Black. I gotta check Laura. I gotta check Blackboard.
I hate that bird blackboard.
Nah, Blackboard gives trauma.
To take
I
questions.
gotta check Banner Web next week.
Sam.
Homie, you taking summer classes?
Yep. For cannabis. In a cannabis course.
Of course.
I'm serious.
Man, is definitely taking the cannabis course.
Wow. Where you at? 24. Ooh. Ooh. Oh
I
no!
think, you know,
Oh yeah!
What?
spreadsheet.
Nigga dragged Homer. Nigga dragged that nigga.
Listed
Nigga Drake. What other bitch was that?
What happened?
Oh no, but I'm not doing no. So yeah, what's
Increased
24 at?
You saw that in the
Checking out a flavor. Okay,
we
workout.
understand that as
You
we
had it.
increase testing, we're going to see more cases known. And so what we present in that
For real?
table is that
If you smack,
plateaus in cases of interest, increases in certain regions. I think though, when you then have to assess what does that mean for moving forward,
Green.
we have to
That-
look at that in a bigger context. And I think we've had this
I would
discussion
tell a
on
flavor
press
for
conferences
24 shit.
before. Well,
You look out,
and
they're gonna
actually
speak
in
for a
committee
lot.
in the legislature, as we
Good
increase
job.
testing and we see more cases, does that
Good
mean
job,
we're
Roche.
forever
Keep shooting that
shutting
shit,
down the
son.
state?
Stupid
What was
ass.
answered is no. We also need to look at what's going on with people presenting to emergency
Is that right, buddy?
departments with symptoms and what's
You hit
going
next
on
time?
with hospitalizations. And both of those are rosier pictures than they were 2 weeks ago. Even with the
shouldn't have called
plateau
for it.
in symptoms
Your
in
shit.
Region 6, overall,
you shouldn't need
shit.
bailout to make that pass.
in the other regions. And when you look at hospitalizations, yes, certainly we're not happy that Region 7, that the Shreveport area saw this trend from plateau
got Nick
to
down there.
increase. But there were other regions that were concerning to us previously for plateau or increase in Region 2, a much
You still got the ball?
populous area, and those have changed to decreasing. So the challenge, I'll say, from our perspective,
We're about 20?
public health, and we're talking
What has
about
happened?
experts, is there
I
is
don't
no
know.
playbook, even with the White House guidance. There's no playbook.
Sir,
how
chill out, bro.
you can deem that your state is 100% ready to reopen. But what we need to look at is overall, do we see the trends in the right direction? Do we think that that trend is in the right direction with, frankly, less adherence to stay at home, which is another consideration that we had in our discussions as well. We know more people are out and
Shit.
about
Oh, yeah.
over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
We've been encouraging people to go out and about and enjoy the outdoors. We've seen more traffic on the roads. And so if we're still seeing these general trends decreasing while we're seeing more activity, it's a heartening sign. Even if you just look at the actual metric, it says something like increasing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's that buckle up. What? Kill him, Nick.
So for gatherings, we're still recommending small gatherings for
You see him in that bitch.
we're giving the occupancy level. Is that I don't think there's gonna be any change to the gathering guidance in this phase.
Somebody told pissed.
The occupancy level is for people who are
Very
not going
pissed.
into establishments where we're controlling the amount of spacing, the symptoms checks at doors and the like.
I think this is a question for the governor, but
Green.
Oh!
Just like that. We lost 50,000.
I
Like
wasn't.
That, we lost 50,000.
They let me that
Lost
deep.
50,000.
They let me that deep.
Yeah, well, that's obviously unfortunate.
Boy,
And the goal
this
isn't-
for that Homer getting the ball.
is trying to balance safety.
Nigga can't shoot it from the E.
in
Oh!
public health emergency, and the need to open more stores and get people back to work and get more customers into these stores and restaurants. And if you look.
Oh, good job, Bo. Good boy,
I haven't
bro.
done an exhaustive analysis
That's
state
great.
by state, but if you look at them, 25% is.
Damn.
Follow that.
Across the country. And in states that never reached the level that we did in terms of our
Oh.
per capita, and the type of
That's back, no,
hotspots that
that's
we've
back.
had around the state, principally in New Orleans and in
Big ass boy down
Jefferson
there.
Parish. But that
Caught! Back of the end zone.
is designed to allow
Basket. Ooh!
Oh, goddamn. Oh, Lord.
in the White House.
God.
Bruh!
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Nigga took Nick Blind Hell off his head.
Of the business and trying to make sure that people can engage
They say
in
chuckle butter.
businesses safely. I would point out a couple of things that on the Safe at Home.
Shoot right
slide
there. Oh, you ain't bold.
Dr. B went through.
All
The
right.
25% limit on solo and non-contact sports doesn't apply to the team, so you don't have to field 25% of a baseball team, for example. But it does apply in the stands, and so obviously if you're outdoors and you can spread the spectators around the outfield. And
I think I'm gonna lose on
sidelines
stream.
and so
I'm on
forth,
stream, losing on the goddamn stream.
then that'll be fine.
I can lose
So
on
with that,
stream.
I'll take more.
How?
Yes, sir.
I'm bullshit. Oh shit! How you got that?
Well,
Joseph's United.
Looking at the data every day when it comes in, and if we
Yeah, Joseph's United.
A spike in cases and
Oh, drop that shit. Well, you got it.
than you would expect to see just because you're increasing your
Chaz, you got over the top. I'm about to say, Chaz, you got safety over there.
actually calls for increased hospitalization. Then you've got to take a
Why they quit?
serious
Oh,
look,
yeah,
and you got to try to figure out, is this something we can keep a lid on because
Locking
of
that
the
shit up.
additional testing capacity
Nigga, garbage.
and the contact tracing capacity that we have. And we'll just be talking about that as we go with Dr. BU and his team. But we're also talking to leaders from whichever
I try to give you some
that
sexy-
might
some
be
sexy
taking
shit.
place in. Yes, sir.
The ball should be gone.
What's he doing?
I don't know what the fuck he doing.
Green, son.
That's off.
Well, I mean, I can't know for certain. I don't have any reason to think that the folks in
God.
Region 8 in the Monroe area were
Right.
less adherent to the stay-at-home than people elsewhere.
Okay.
Not every place is affected to the same degree and at the same
Oh,
time.
Lord. Lord.
We saw huge increases in cases in New
Thank you.
Orleans. And in
No!
later, and I would submit to you that
The man is he's a man child.
in isolation.
He said if I can't get it, nobody can. You know, dealing with Gelo down there.
Also, you look at that.
Not fucking with it.
Jackson,
Ice on the cake.
Mississippi, just to see kind of what's
55-footer.
happening along
from
those
the R.
corridors. But
Oh, shit.
Leo, I would point out that there's a net increase
Bully him,
in
Nick. Oh, shit.
hospitalizations over the last 2 weeks in Monroe. So it's
I love it.
we show
I love
it
it.
as an increase because that's where it
my
graphs
God.
out, but it's a net of 4. With respect
Oh
to cases,
shit.
we believe that the cases are showing up because the testing is increasing. And by the way, we've done greatly increase
job,
our
Nick.
testing capacity in Northeast
Good job,
Louisiana
Nick.
over the
Good job,
coming,
Ro.
couple of weeks, especially in those.
Oh, I tried. I tried to find home. The home was gonna be
That
open.
we have over
I
there.
was open. Green.
Bye bye.
Green. Green.
The amazing shooting stats today from grown man G are just something that we haven't seen in recent memory. Green!
Yeah, I think it's entirely.
Like a volume shooter.
considered. And of course, we don't have. it
I'm
yet
not in
in
this
front
game
of
right now.
us.
That's
When we
terrible. I'm
do
not in
look
this
at
game
it,
right now.
If we ever have
Oh, yeah,
to
Nick.
slam on the brakes and
Oh, yeah,
try to
Ro.
loosen the restrictions.
Oh, Lord.
And it
That's
means
that
that
bro
we do
guy.
that, region
Boy, get your
opposed
stupid-
to the approach that we've been taking.
Ooh! Oh, that should be dust. It should
Wait,
be
Nick.
dust.
Keep going, Nick. Keep going, Nick. Keep going, Nick.
I feel comfortable.
Ah!
I know I don't want that shit. I know I
We said what?
Say I got extra high out of nowhere, so I don't know where the fuck that came
The
from.
CDC.
Homie, you beat me to it! Why you beat me to it? Ah!
And there's no doubt.
Go on, man.
When you look at the information,
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if I'm 0 for 12.
a couple of weeks ago.
Duh!
Actually,
We
on
proved
Saturday,
that.
Get that shit.
the
We
Vice
proved that.
President and
Yeah,
the
I know.
President
So go ahead,
today
Jello. Get you some shit
had a
going,
video
Jello.
telephone conference.
Look at you.
But also, I was listening-
Terrible God! Terrible God! No! Yeah! Nick, throw that bitch.
Admiral Gelo is over testing for the country.
He ain't got no Gatorade cup either.
He reaffirmed the absolute
That
commitment
nigga's
that the federal government has to research
Keep in mind, Trey Lights runs 10 miles a game.
to get to 200,000 tests
least.
per month for May and for
With an
June,
R2 button.
going beyond that as well. All of that played into to the decision that we have. And I'll tell you, if you look at the data that Dr. Bio presented,
said,
and,
"That's stop,
the
broke
overall
guy.
trends are positive.
What time is it? 3?
For the state of Louisiana.
Oh, shit.
And I think it bears
That's that broke guy.
mentioning
That's that
because
broke
it's,
guy.
in some ways it seems like yesterday, in some ways it seems like a year ago. But it was just several weeks ago that we had the highest growth rate of cases in the country here and really in the world, according to Dr. Wagner. We were number 2 in the U.S. in cases per capita. And clearly we had a hotspot that was unrivaled in the country, in Orleans and Jefferson Parish. Since April the 27th, the number of COVID patients in our hospitals is down by 373. The number of patients in our hospitals on ventilators with COVID down 105. And that said, I agree with Dr. B. We're not declaring victory. This is not mission accomplished. And we still have our eyes
Wait, who dipping? Who dipping out?
Monitoring this very, very carefully. And we have to
Travis?
I'm like 20 minutes. I gotta do the workout.
The I-20 corridor between.
Oh, everybody want to work out, huh? All right, hey, all right, well, that's it. Gelo, you know where we at, bro. Back to my career. I'll leave. Nigga got me and Gelo out here like construction workers.
Your boy is officially motherfucking done with the semester. Yes. Take the test yesterday.
Can you believe we don't have a jacuzzi?
You know we don't have a jacuzzi.
Can you believe we don't have a jacuzzi?
You know we don't have a jacuzzi.
Facts. I'm tired.
John Bell Edwards talking.
Soap and water. And if there's one thing that's critically important, it is that literally, even though I don't have a stay home and order in effect come Friday, people who are vulnerable, this really shouldn't make much difference to them at all. If you're 65 or older, if you've got these chronic comorbid conditions like hypertension, diabetes, kidney disease, heart disease, obesity, you really need to be extremely careful and stay home unless you're doing something that really is essential. And you know, I would just remind people that in addition to being safer at home, everybody still has their part to play. And I know this isn't easy, and I know it isn't comfortable wearing a mask, and I suspect as we get into June and July and August, it's going to get really hot. But it is incredibly important for people to do that, because we don't want to have to go backwards. The worst thing we can do for our economy is to have starts and stops. But if we're going to open up more of our economy, get more people back to work, get more people in our stores and in our restaurants and so forth, we have to practice these things. Otherwise, we don't really have, and not just us, but this is key for the whole country.
Yep.
We don't have a whole lot of other tools in the toolbox in order to keep the case count down outside of the testing and the contact tracing.
Give me that
So we
shit.
need people to
Keep.
do their part.
Keep stupid.
And by the way,
Said that shit.
I think the people of Louisiana will do that. I'm reminded that of all the commandments that were given to us, you know, Luke chapter 10, other than the most important one, loving the Lord with all your heart and so forth, is loving your neighbor as yourself. One of the ways you can love your neighbor as yourself is to wear that mask and protect your neighbor from yourself, because there is still a substantial number of people out there.
Hard in 7 now, and it was hard then.
They don't know they have it because they're asymptomatic. An asymptomatic person, by definition, feels like they're healthy. So you can't say, I'm not going to wear a mask because I feel good today. That really defeats the purpose. And so I'm asking people to wear those masks. Got time for a couple more questions. Yes, sir.
What criteria we're going to have to meet to enter phase 2 just related, and also what phase 2 might look like?
Yeah. Sam, I am not going to talk about what phase 2 may look like. It would be very consistent with what's in the White House plans. But there's only so much information we should put out on one day, and we're asking people to focus on phase 1 right now. And as we get closer to the decision on what